Okay, guys, let's jump into game number 1 of this best of 7 series. We have playing in the red our Berber player Spaden. In the teal we have Mattheus playing melee. He is facing the Berbers of Praxes, and Improvise is playing melee on the other side. We are looking at Baltic, a map that isn't played quite as often. Let's take a look. They are playing the version number 3. I think this should be the correct one. And QueNDi is actually cheering for the QueNDi guys. Interesting stuff here. QueNDi, I believe, got seed number 3. At the moment they're considered to be the 3rd strongest team or the 4th strongest team. Clear favorites in this matchup. Not playing with the best lineup if you ask me. I think it would be Leash with Praxes, but still Improvise. Incredible beast as well, and they should have a huge advantage on all land maps, but on the water maps we have seen the NaBs perform pretty well, and let's see how they will do. They already beat QueNDi, which was quite an upset for all the DM world. How well those RMers did, but those aren't pure RMers. They performed pretty well in previous DM tournaments as well, and I'm super happy to see them around here. Better start for them for sure. Getting some kills in, getting the high numbers out. Not the greatest goal spot though for the poor mentalist. Poor, have a wonderful night. Fast fireship and Kellan out now. Spaden trying to apply some pressure on water now. Good camp quite nicely over here, but can easily be defended by some castles as well. I think this shouldn't be the main issue of the game. It will be, I believe, the left hand side. Mentalist against Praxes, and whoever is able to advance here. Quite an interesting start that Mentalist with melee completely ignores his option of going for elephants. And now that is an ugly choke point for him. Absolutely need to see him go for a lot of dogs here, and this villager seems like he has a task and should be going for this. Meanwhile we have some raids in the back here, some ship coming over. That's a fight that Mentalist can never ever take. I'm still surprised to not see a single elephant being built, nor any dogs, which obviously could be so efficient that they actually do some damage here with their harbors. On the other side we have Spaden, who needs to go for his mass heavy camels. Doing quite okay-ish against the bad elephant, especially with some camel archers in the back as well. The defense isn't that great for improvised elephants. Therefore the elephants are doing quite some damage, and Spaden is playing this quite nicely, and I'm hoping that we see a long 7-game series here that is entertaining us for a very long time. And yeah, if I'm judging this correctly, this is an option for sure. As we said, QueNDi guys are the favorites here, but the settings are very favorable for the NaBs guys. It was simply pick civilization on Arabia, that would be so much tougher for them. Do camel archers have an attack bonus against elephants? I don't think so, no. Are there these settings? Well, I have them in my overlay. We can take a look at them, but they seem to be somewhat fine, yeah. In Arabia Captain's mode? I believe so. Yeah, should be it. Meanwhile, some raids against the trade cards that are even saved here. Look at that. Saving both the trade cards. Sweet stuff. Low HP, both of them. I mean, we don't see too often such a move. Praxes is playing this so incredibly clever. Look at that. Oh, it's very little army doing so much damage. Yeah, he's losing some costly gold units, but still, it's so impossible for Mentalist to take any engagements. Mentalist finally trying to clear this up. Oh, but that's a lot of camel archers. And if they get a combined attack now, that could be pretty interesting. The water control heavily in favor of the QueNdis at the moment, and this is an all-around fight. Exactly what we want to see from Baltic. And Mentalist, I don't like how little he is going for water, and especially how he's not going for water at this area. Just think about how good Harvest would do in those scenarios. Elite Camel Archers now not doing any damage either. Need to move in, snipe down some of the siege, and then maybe even fall back because they cannot really take a great engagement. At the same time, beautiful spot here for Spaden. Did get some villagers not getting the trade card kills though. And now Karambit are coming over. Karambit, not the greatest unit in this scenario here, if you ask me. But, well, was just a very fast addition. And oh god, I think this could be... it's Spaden, it's just running. Realizes, okay, I cannot really take this engagement. Just runs away. I think he had a chance of taking a reasonable engagement here. But, well, not too great anymore now. Pulling one castle off. Having quite a reasonable amount of elite cannon guns here with melee. Pretty sweet stuff. And, yeah, it's mainly galleons against galleons. Mentalist still struggling quite a bit. Overall wood amount would be a bit higher for the NaBs guys, I would say. If we want to think about the super long game. Oh! Those camel archers with camels actually won? Oh, that's interesting. Did I? Look at that, I'm clicking the low HP. Okay, now it's 45 HP. Would be so funny if camel archers actually regenerated while the game is being paused as well. Obviously that doesn't work in a real game, but would be a funny bug. Trade amount, Mentalist not really taking good care of that yet. Oh, that's cleared up now. And you only have 10 pauses? Yeah. I say that's quite a bit to have 10 pauses. Oh, those camel archers are still alive! Saw them dying like 3 times already. But they just keep getting some damage done. Good for them. Spaden losing some ground here. Seems like they had a TeamSpeak issue or something. The Mentalist lost connection. Oh! I believe that caster just instantly went down. Yeah. I wouldn't mind actually to see Mentalist building 10 stables over here and just do a massive elephant go over there. The fight still continues, but not decided yet. Still a lot of dogs out. More dogs being replaced. Mentalist somewhat struggling on land here. Up 150 for him. Only 40 military against 50, and that's way weaker military as well. Praxes now going for a trade go. I don't think that will work, and yeah, Mentalist way too aware of that situation. Getting a lot of camel archers, or at least some damage against them. Now Karambit slicing down some bombard cannons. Looks pretty solid that Mentalist will hold this. But lost a lot of castles, and is down to only 2 now. Camels are taking the best fights against the halberdiers here. Bombard cannons doing some work. Fighting against the hill is pretty tough. All the players somewhat around their pop limit. The most even game in this tournament so far? Yeah! I don't see anyone really advancing. I don't really see... Well, we already had a draw in this tournament, so it can get more even. Camel archers now coming over as well. Bombard cannons for mentalists. They should do some damage. Maybe even add 1 or 2 more. Now finally going on to stone here. Tricky situation over here. That's a lot of army going over. What is he doing with all his camels? Now is he going back again? Just think about how good some harbors would be here. Mentalists just not playing to the potential of his civilization, if you ask me. Trade amount pretty solid by both teams. Still would love to see some more by Mentalist, but he's also mixing in some halberdiers, is still getting gold, so that's not the worst thing ever. Most likely about Malay is one of the best water tips? Not really. Water belongs to QueNDi. Does it really? Looks pretty good for them. Oh, alright, not again. But yeah, Malay are so sexy. Look at how the harbors are helping out against the bombard cannons. Isn't that funny? Angelus needs to get more traps out as well. Praxes the lowest pop at 160 here. Take a look at his resources. Well, he can easily get his pop high with camels again. Still has a lot of wood in the back as well, so that's not their problem. Now, water control now completely for improvise here. Interesting stuff. Mentalist maybe even overboomed here, 134 villagers. Take a look at his resources. Yeah, they are skyrocketing. That's not really a thing, and still not going for elephants. Think about it. If he transitions his resources there into 50 elephants, it'll be much more efficient on the map. Blue now continues. And now they could go into the really tricky things and maybe prepare a transporter and some camel archers and just try to raid the trade over and over again. Could be an option, but it feels like Praxes pushing nonetheless here, losing at least one castle as Mentalist. Why is he not taking this water area here? That's just so brutal for him. Don't like that at all. And losing the water fights here as well. Just fighting against a big mass of ship on the water against blue and purple. And meanwhile, Spain isn't doing the damage. It's not completely walled here yet. When you're getting water and land control, yeah, that's something we don't see too often. But that happens if you are playing the very solid game, and that's a lot of bombard cannons out here as well. Now bombard cannons getting sniped down, and Mental is really struggling. That's pop 160. He is producing mass amount of halberdiers, but not much else. And they aren't performing too well at the moment, losing yet another castle. Spain only down to one castle as well. He built way too many castles here at the shoreline. That got sniped by bombards, or cannon galleons, I mean. And Praxes now pushing with another castle. This looks pretty good for QueNDi to take the first map here, or the first win. And that's on a map which they don't like too much. After the restart was called, they were actually hoping for another map pack, not to replay on Baltic here. First win for our favorites, Praxes, together with Improvise. Pretty flawless game by them, I have to say. Thought a bit risky on the land side from time to time, but the rest pretty solid. Praxes was just pushing beautifully. Still don't think that Mattheus played this too great, and Spain maybe didn't do enough damage overall. Not caring about food too much. Other players, and yeah, well, he still had a lot of gold. That's not the problem, as it seems. And too many villagers, as I said. Oh god. Okay, now we're going into Green Arabia Captain's Mode time. If you kill random units in it, do they survive? Yes, they pop out. Safe pick time. Roles are reversed, so Spaden is picking for NaBs on the right hand side, or like he is on the left hand side now. Rammed with Teutonic Knights. That's something we don't see too often. Green Arabia and band of Italians, interesting. Feels like they want to go for elephants. Isn't that something? Oh. The first two, Italians and Spanish, were global bands. Now we're going into individual bands. Slavs, one, the other one. Oops, random. Okay. And now we have two picks. So, NaBs cannot pick a random civilization. I will remember them before they launch. What are you thinking about the new Boa maps? It doesn't feel like the truth yet. Okay, Frank's pick for QueNDi, Khmer pick for NaBs. Now it's time for two more bands for the enemies. Redo. Other captains joined, please. Redo. Thought he was betting, but he picked. Well, messed up too. We didn't mean random. Okay, they're redoing it. Very professional here. Okay, next try. Next try. Italians? Spanish? Okay. Now, Slav and Khmer. are the bans for the animatives. So we now cannot see Khmer. We can see Slavs and Franks, okay. So technically, NaBs can still pick random. Isn't random pretty funny? If you feel like, damn, we don't have a good civilization, we will just pick random. I think we should have included that in an earlier round. To go for random civilization. Oh, would be so good. Oh. Okay, Khmer ban now as well. Mongols ban. Now here we go with the interesting stuff. Random can be so good. Enemy is banning Italians. You pick random and get Italians. Oh. Maybe we could just go for random twice. Okay, now Franks are picked. Slavs cannot be picked, so we don't see a mirror match. Really love to see random now. Random selects Khmer. Oh, okay, Mongols. So we have Frank Mongols for QueNDi, and we have Frank Slav for NaBs. Interesting. Okay. Then let's see how they are playing this out. I think if you play random and get Khmer, you can play, sure. Shift win for NaBs. Looks better for them, right? Oh, interesting. They completely switch around now. So it's improvise and unleash playing. So Praxes is benched. That's interesting. %3 chance. I believe it's higher than 3%. Calculator. Divide 100 by 31. 3.2, my mate. Even higher. That's a long number, by the way. Didn't think that it would be such a weird fraction. Oh. Okay, guys, then let's jump into game number 2. We are looking at GA here. Both picked Franks. We have Slavs for NaBs and Mongols for QueNDi. And let's see how they're playing this out. Spain is starting with barracks. We have Mentalist starting with stables only. Improvise with his Mongol start. And building 2 stables. We have Leash with his lots of stable start, obviously. So should be a pretty tough one for Mentalist if he doesn't get a lot of damage done pretty early on. But I think he should be in a reasonable spot here. Is on the way to pressure quite a bit, and his pop should just skyrocket here. Frank stables, and let's take a look at how he started this. Look at this, how fast the production of those paladins is just rushing out. He just needs to send them over to the other side and needs to do the pressure against Improvise, who is actually building this castle quite early on, only after 4 stables. Population now 29 to 16, and maybe even send a villager forward quite early. And oh, that villager is quite ambitious. Let's take a look on the other side. The Franks player isn't doing that much damage. Spain a bit better, or trying to get the walls up, but they were a bit ambitious. So a lot of Harbies around to maybe punish those paladins. from being around. Feels like 2-3 paladins went down, and that's an interesting mining camp if I've ever seen one. And that's a lot of villagers going down here. Can Mentalist maybe kill Improvise here early on? That's a big problem for the Mongols. They're so weak at the start. Pop 29 for them. Mentalist at 70, and he wants to rush badly. Spaden even sending over some halberdiers and not dying at the same time against Leash Franks here. I believe the Mongols could be the wrong pick. We will see about that. And at the moment, do we see an aggressive castle? Yes, we do. More paladins, more halberdiers coming as well. He just needs to focus down more villagers, and this looks so good for them. Pop 90 to pop 22 on the other side. It is a small advantage for Unleashed. He's now sending a lot of paladins over, but will this be enough? If the Mongols player is losing one, maybe even two castles here at the front, it looks so tough for him. We are only at the 5-minute mark. Paladins trying to get some raids in, but running into castles. Gold spot not the greatest position, and instantly running into that one. Yeah, he's killing some villagers. Good job with that, but will it be enough? At the same time, we see Spaden absolutely needs to start his push now, so that Mentalist can continue and rampage all those villagers. Let's take a look. Can he maybe snipe down those, or are they jumping into the CC in the castle? Seems like he got 2 more, maybe even 4 more here, putting him down to 4 villagers in total, and this aggression continues to go on. Pop 100 for all the players except Improvise, who is still struggling with pop 30 here, completely in troubles. Oh, those castles are denied. Those scorpions really need to go back home now. They need some buffer in front of them. Leash is trying to help out, but now the traps are coming. Mentalist is pushing this so heavily. Leash just trying to hold on. If they can go into the long game, maybe the paladins will vanish to camels and mango. But for now, pop 140 against 45. The aggression of Mentalist still continues. Look at that stream of units. They are setting up trade. Something we don't see from Improvise at all. He is up to 6 villagers now. 1 castle for him, even deleting that one at the front. And maybe we'll get a 3rd castle up down here, but this one is dying. 2 traps out. We'll get a 3rd one. Unleash. He knows he just needs to take some hits and needs to go double the other side, helping his teammate out so that he can survive. Getting a 3rd castle up now. Here is our player in the green trunks, who is losing quite a bit. Obviously killing the houses won't really help much, but killing the castles is the main issue here. That's a big army for Spaden. He needs a bit more rams, if you ask me. He's camping corner with paladins, as he should. That's a good paladin for sure, blocking that area. Now going on to a bit too many X-Men, if you ask me, against the Mongol player. Oh, and there's O out now. That's a lot of champions by a Frank player. I'm a bit surprised by that. As O shots, well, only 2 shots, not killing all the traps. 2 HP, look at that. 62 and 63 HP. So some losses here for sure. Now taking a big engagement here. But Mentalist pop 200. Spaden as well. He is pushing over here at the other side. And this is the most important thing. Can Improvise hold on? He is trying for his dear life. At 20 villagers now, we have Mentalist 50. They started the trade. We have Unleashed already with a solid amount. RVSO going down. Not focused down yet. But now 1 and 2 down. That's so many traps out, and Mentalist just playing a beautiful game here against Improvise. Spaden, he knows, yeah, my teammate was pushing well, therefore my enemy was going to the other side to help his other teammate, and I need to push quite heavily, and that's what he did. Did not get leash off the leash and gave him a lot of time to breathe. He pushed with his traps as well, and this looks very good to go into an even 1-1 after this game number 2. Populations are just super brutal. Roughly 200 pop more for our NaBs guys, who probably outpicked with Slav Franks the Frank Mongols of the QueNDi guys. And that's what actually Kellan from QueNDi said before. He isn't confident that they will actually transition their incredible deathmatch skills into the Civ draft and will really be able to show how good they are if they're on even footage. Well, for now, the team play is actually pretty good. Sending Melkor over, trying to defend here, but just look at the populations. And this far, Praxes, the only guy undefeated in this series, winning game number 1 and being benched game number 2. Pretty comfortable situation for him to brag about his skill. Lots of Scorpions going down here. Melkor is actually doing quite a lot of damage. Let's take a look. And, well, that isn't going to live too long. Scorpions going down as well. That push continues. And, yeah, another castle goes down. Down to 3 castles on that hill. He is actually having everything a Mongol needs. Some control of wood, some control of gold, some trade, and some castles on the hill and siege workshops. But he's just losing so much ground so quickly. And Spaden's actually giving some SO support as well. It's just getting very ugly. Aggressive barracks even by our Frank player, and some stables over here to continue the support on the right hand side. Spaden doing a good job on that side as well. Too many X-Men, if you ask me. Not really good against anything they are facing. Maybe against some Halberdiers, but won't perform too well against Elite Melkor nor against SO. Not really the units that are too viable. Frank, Han and Slav. Yeah, that's a brutal composition. Slavs no house bonus, Frank stable bonus, and the faster stables in general for the Frank is just so incredibly tough to deal with. It's truly a very strong composition for 3-3. Maybe another castle going down, some paladins coming over from Leash. Nice body block here, actually blocking off some paladins, but, well, will the castle be saved? This shot actually won't hit because the trap died earlier, but the HP was over 400 anyways. Why is he going for so many X-Men? Just think about how efficient 30 paladins would be here instead of 40 X-Men. The QueNDis are somewhat stabilizing. It still feels like 85% map control to 15. I cannot really expand, but actually they are getting raids in. What are we witnessing here? Are the NaBs failing to close out this game? They absolutely shouldn't. Yeah, but their pop advantage isn't that high anymore. Melkor is now coming over, and Melkor is a good unit to start a comeback. Great for trade raiding, great for defending as well. And I don't really see a push at the moment. Did Mentalist over boom again? Well, 114 villagers, 35. Not the greatest thing for sure. And now the DMer's coming over. Who is Mentalist? Dude, get a life. It would be so brutal if NaBs throw it, but I don't see them throwing this. They are way too good. I believe, like, at 25-minute mark or 23-minute mark, the skill difference isn't that big between those two teams. Wasn't Mentalist in AOK DMer even, and only then came to RM? I believe so, yeah. Uh-oh, it's only down to 29 trade cards. Those paladins really did a lot of damage here. And still around. Are they maybe turning this game around with this raid? Don't think so. But still, yeah, they're still so active all around. But getting sniped again. The team play of those QueNdis is just lovely. Paladin sniping SO and traps. Could go for some more raids in the gold spots. Okay, finally getting some defensive castles up here. And they needed way earlier. Improvise stabilized now at pop 150, unleashed at pop 110. Mentalist thinks, okay, if they can raid our trade with paladins, maybe we can do the same. QueNdi teamwork is great. They can know this still. Well, I didn't read the name, but whoever said that cannot be very knowledgeable. Oh, actually, that was a double joke even. I didn't realize that. Ay ay ay. Pop 140 against pop 120. Trade is still a bit better for the QueNdis, and they have a better civilization there with the mobility of the mango dice. Let's see how they are playing this out. And sweet defense so far by Improvise. Still has 4 castles in the hill. Kind of enough to defend. And mango dice over here to deal with the slab player. Ah yeah, pop 100 and pop 120 though. Percentage of the map didn't change much. Mango dice now taking good care of the Frank army. I really hate that he's still building X-Men. NaBs overboomed again. Well, there's not a lot of military out for them. In the 40s, they're still reasonable. Only killing some trades. Sending over more here. Okay, maybe they can continue their pressure with that. And remember, both players got heavily pushed. Unleashed only 1 castle left. All the 4 of them of Improvise over here. Therefore, they don't really have the stone to protect their trade. And Mentalist resources are just pure madness here. Let's take a look at Spaden. He only has gold. Maybe buy something else. On the other side, we have Improvise. That was actually starting to see. That's bad, man. Now at pop 120, still needs a lot of wood. Let's count his TCs maybe. Oh, 1. Well, that's not great for a comeback if he only has 26 villagers. And Unleashed, well, he has some more TCs, but not a lot of food going for him. And yet another trade go of Mentalist. Yeah, it just feels like the Stranglehold is too good. And, well, Mentalist not using defensive stand grounds here as it feels. Paladin's just randomly following. Not the greatest thing. Mentalist now coming over, trying to clear this up, and at the same time he is losing ground at the front. And that's where most of his very precious food eco is. Ay 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 ay. Oh, still around, and that's another group of paladins. Did they get cleared up or did he run? Well, no matter what, that's a big flock of paladins here by Mentalist. Oh, mango dice, can they eat some SO shots? It looks like at least Spaden wants to handle them over, but mango dice somewhat dodged those. Well, some losses, but enough losses to lose a GA game. Something we did not expect, but we also didn't expect that they get so outpicked. If it was outpicked, that's a big question. Mongols against Franks, the distance wasn't that short. If you think about it, he was spawning over here with a tight area, could have walled that off. against a Franks player. Somewhat far away. Could have, well, it was tough for a clump. It was a tough spot for sure, and the timeline will show us how this game went. NaBs getting it to 1-1. I think random ban was stronger. Yeah, Leash never got his food eco rolling that well. Mentalist 153 and the timeline, as you can see, improvise. Very small. Then kind of stabilized, but you can see it was still enormous for the NaBs guys. And they just continued with their advantage till the end. Very patient play. I like that a lot. And now we are going into Golden Crater Captain's mode. Let's see what they're banning this time. Kitchino enjoying some DM action. Welcome. Khmer and Slavs being globally banned. I played some practice with the NaBs, surprised how strong they are playing DM these days. You're also a DM player. The knowledge guy is QueNDi too. And Kitchino, I think we casted him yesterday. Together with Kilgrave or something. And Cortical. I think they three are the same team, together with Zune Daywalker. They four are forming the team. So Franks again for QueNDi B. Celts this time for NaBs. I know knowledge. Well, I didn't know. Now banning Celts behind that? Interesting. Throwing Jitba out of his victory? Yeah, Jitba actually got second. Although he wasn't the second best player. Orkut was better at that time. But he had so many issues with his nerves. Quite weird. Persian and Mongols banned as well. So they really don't want to play against Vietnamese ban? What are we seeing, guys? So Franks. Interesting. So Frank Celts against Frank Saracen. I'd say Celt Frank has an advantage, but not sure. I think that's interesting. Saracen certainly has a mobility. Like, I think if we have Frank and Celts against Saracens, then Celts is better, but if we have Celts Franks and Saracen Franks, I think Saracens are better. Orkut is maybe the scariest player DMer to play against. For me, it's Leash and Tempo. Against Orkut, I know what I'm up to, but Tempo in Hans War is just, for me, completely uncontrollable, and Leash is just a speed beast as well. But yeah, Orkut is probably better, but I prefer playing Orkut instead of playing against Leash or Tempo. Tempo actually is only Hans War, the worst thing. In the RM world, nothing is tight. Golden Crater coming our way, guys. It will be map number 3 here in the quarterfinals. TLC2 winner bracket. The winner, I believe, will play against QueNDi. Oh, well, we don't know, but the winner of the QueNDi game, let's call it that way. And we have Kellan against Saracens, and on the other side we have the Frank War. So let's see how this will play out. A real DM 1v1 tournament. Well, we had one 2 years ago, I believe. Yeah, 2 years ago, exactly. And that was a big success. A lot of people interested, a lot of people heavily trained. And yeah, ended in great games. Exclamation mark TLC to look at the brackets over that, and Praxes is doing the absolute right thing and going over and double. I absolutely love that. He cannot really do a lot of damage against Spaden, who's going mass halberdiers. And I don't think that Spaden should patrol back home. He should just go and patrol to the front. Actually going for the real block formation, and Leash is going full madness here as well. Let's take a look at Mentalist's villager count. He is losing villagers left and right. This is not looking pretty for him. This one is going down as well, losing her in the back, and now it looks like he only has one villager. Well, I stand corrected. This one is getting focused down as well. And a lot of party is going on over here at Mentalist. He isn't getting a lot of houses up at the moment. 0 villagers. Well, another one arrived back to the party. Praxes could actually finish her down as well. And this looks ugly for Mentalist. A bit of an open build-up, but it was okay in general, I believe. Oh, going down to 2 villagers again, and one of them being in the TC, so really not getting a lot of stuff out. At the same time, Leash is even having castles, preparing his trade or whatever he's doing. I'm not really sure why the Franks player is building the market if he has a Saracens teammate. But Spaden realized, okay, big double against Mentalist, you kind of have to survive. I at the same time am trying to push here, but surviving will be hard. Pop 15 for him, trying to get more villagers home. I believe this could have been a spot where you absolutely could have called a restart. Tough one for them, and Praxes is getting SOs out here to defend his area quite nicely. Mamluks also, and he is at more pop than Spaden, who should actually now do so much more pressure to his enemy, and Praxes stays undefeated in this series, and that was a quickie that came from big AOK double or into AOC Mentalist to the first 18 civilizations banned. You can only pick the newest 13. That came. True, you lost both last DM tournaments, right? The other one was won by Rubenstock and Miguel and Brew. Has anyone ever called a re? Yes, they called a re, for example, this series in the very first game. Okay, guys, then let's stop the roasting of Kellan and jump into game number 4 here. We have, Hidden Pick Civ, just Slav, Khmer War, what we have seen over and over again. Prairie is a map where you start with 2 scouts or hunters, or light cav, and we don't have any hills on this map. So will be pretty interesting. You can do a lot of aggression, and it seems like the double is just coming over. Mattheus is trying to do a small base here and try to defend, but the villagers are getting stuck this way, so cannot really micro them back too well. At the same time, mass barracks opening here by Spaden, who's facing the Slav player Praxes, and we have the Khmer War on the left hand side, where we actually see a start with some light cav. Isn't that interesting? Cavaliers, I mean. It just kind of feels like light cav if you compare them to Khmer elephants. Very early market here by Spaden. Some small villager losses, but not too much. She could get here some. Khmer elephant only needs 2 hits against the villager. Up. And that's a lot of elephant production. Siege workshops now being massed as well, and that looks like 7 siege workshops as well. SO support from Spain. They are playing this so well. Yeah. Guys, could we stop talking about some results 5 tournaments ago and like 4 years ago? Wasn't that 2013-ish or something, that tournament? Was before Wars Coming started. And TM is still talking about this one finals where Jitba beat TheViper in one single series, and now for all times I think Jitba is the greatest. Who hasn't won a single Juno Cup. Didn't perform too great in other DM 2v2 tournaments. Never won one either. Oh, I don't have the Hippobot running. My bad. How many cups have you won, streamer? DM tournaments? More than you would know. I honestly won like 4 DM tournaments, I believe. But only one very big one. But I won 3 DM HD tournaments with Shine. And I believe 2 with Shine, 1 with Bender. And actually there were like super sick prize pools. Something when HD came out and people were just super bad. And yeah, it was just ridiculous. People were so bad, the prize pool was still like $400 or something. And actually I believe the finals were even against Daywalker, best of 5. And I think we had 2 games under 7 minutes. And I was playing from Vegas on my 30-inch laptop. That was a series that I still don't understand. But, well, I was complaining about too many people talking about old tournaments. So let's continue and see how this game is actually developing. Normally I'm always repeating the pop numbers. This time it feels like Praxes is somewhat behind. And Mattheus has quite a nice army here to fight off against Leash, who is actually patrolling into a castle. Who's the best DM player of all time? Probably Bender. Well, it's tough to say. Really tough to say. I mean, it certainly isn't Jitba. Okay, let's take a look here. Oi, oi, oi. Mass Ballista Elephants is deadly? I don't think so. Not against Battle Elephants and Heavy Scorpions. Leash trying to take better engagement. Right hand side, pops are so much lower. Spaden has a nice controlling base at the front. Trade is being blocked over here, left hand side though, and right hand side. So people aren't really getting the trade out so far. Could maybe be a very relevant factor in this game. Some traps in the front. Doesn't the M stand for doesn't matter? Maybe? I never read the definition. Uh-oh, Leash. Well, yeah, he absolutely needs to go back here. Now with the addition of some bombard cannon and some SO, Praxes is taking a good engagement here, doing lots of damage against those battlefiends. They aren't dying yet, but now they should with all the scorpions. But look at that, the battle elephants over here completely out of position. Spaden, if he can maybe tell his teammate to focus down those elephants, they can maybe do something. Getting some ground attacks done. Now those scorpions aren't even shooting, and the battle elephants just passing after losing a lot of HP. Pops are now pretty equal. Thing is, no more battle elephants at the moment for Mentalist. Yeah, he's getting the numbers up again, but if he doesn't have those battle elephants in the front, his scorpions are just becoming so vulnerable against potential SOs. Let's maybe switch into the point of view of Leash and take a look how he is doing with all his HP on those elephants. And actually eating some SO shots. And beautiful move here, beautiful ground attack following all this, and they won't take the great engagement. Look at that, scorpions doing so much damage here, and they're getting the aggro over and over again. And that's what I said, you cannot really run back and forth with those elephants and scorpions. You need to position yourself and then take one good engagement. And that's what this war is all about, I feel. And that's why, for example, TaToH is so incredibly strong, and Christ would be super strong in that one as well, I feel. Those guys can really position their armies so well. Let's take a look. SO shots trying to chase down some of the scorpions. Battle elephants now coming around. SO could maybe even go for some ground attacks if you ask me. Going for the split, going back, ground attack, not really coming. New battle elephants from the top. SO splits are somewhat real. Look at that, even going for split formation with SO, something we don't see too often. And now the SO from the back. Oh god, those elephants could eat big shots, and all of them are so low. His pop is actually way higher than his HP of those elephants is reflecting, so that's a big issue, and therefore he needs to retreat. And Mentalist continues to push in this weird Khmer and Slav matchup. This is one of the best series we had this tournament, no matter how well the games after this are going. Pretty pleased was how well the RMs are performing here, and Praxes could maybe get his first loss here. Improvised seemed to be benched, at least for now, on this Prairie map, but 3 players that are absolutely incredibly strong, so don't get me wrong. Now the battle elephants, look at that, not a lot of scorpions in the back here to really support them. Scorpions are trying to run away from the SO. Where are the SO shots? Oh god, those were denied, and therefore Mentalist is getting pushed back here. Maybe just get in some boyars as well to snipe the SO. Could be a beautiful addition. Or maybe just siege workshops a bit closer. I don't like that positioning. Or actually I like that positioning, but I also would like a bit more over here. Let's Baden castle the trade. He did in the past, but all got cleared up. Trade amount, pretty even for both players. Small advantage there for NaBs, but not too important, as I said. But we are right now coming over, and the trade this far pretty open, so we could see some damage. Sending army to elephants. Well, they aren't the real answer to that. Spain now building annoying towers on the right? No, he's not. Why are they annoying, Manu? What's your problem? Oh, those were unleashed elephants. Okay. Well, trade amount, so pretty healthy for both, so that didn't do too much. Army amount, a bit better for the NaBs guys. Villager count, everyone seems to be in their comfort zone, so this is a pretty stable game at the moment. Let's take a look. I want it. Trading quite a bit of it so against each other. Something Spain cannot be too happy about. Should have the better Onager micro here. But Spain, Praxes, is actually quite a beast as well. Probably one of the best players when it comes to slow camping as old civilizations. Such as... yeah, I believe he's one of the best Saracens player in the world, for example. So quite surprised that they let Improvise play the Mongols before. Okay, and those boyars now doing quite a solid job against all the SO here. Can clear up that trap as well, and not looking too shabby for Spain, who just needs a bit more siege. And by that I mean either rams or traps to do a bit of a better job here and push those markets maybe. At the same time, Unleash cannot really take any engagements. His elephant's not in front of his scorpions. Those scorpions doing quite a lot of damage to the army of Mentalists though, who cannot really take an engagement, especially because there are too many SOs out just trying to snipe those SO. Unleashed even adding his own onagers. That's weird stuff. They needs forward buildings, agreed. Some more barracks would absolutely not hurt. Still producing from home. And that's a very defensive castle to protect his farms. Just could have built your farms around your castles. But he actually only has 3 now. So already lost quite a bit as it seems. Now building more siege workshops. Don't really see a team having any big advantages or any advancements. That's normally the phase where I ask my co-casters very tricky questions. Sadly no co-caster, so no tricky question time. Co-caster, ay. Need to edit that. Oh, that's a horrible engagement for Mentalist. I absolutely cannot take this one. I'm trying to get another castle up there. Mercier or RiuT? Well, then I'd say RiuT. Where are the SO from Spain? They're so desperately needed. And that's a lot of damage output potential. Let's take a look. All those elephants just running back and forth in the scorpions. That's not a great thing. Ooh, if this castle goes up, the push will be stopped from the QueNdis. But for now, the castle isn't going up. And therefore, they can still do quite a bit. One elephant trying to chase down some trade. Spraying with a reasonable army. And Mentalist. How is his resources are looking pretty solid. He has a mass amount of stone as well. I think he should give some stone over to Spain, who could really benefit from 1 or 2 more castles. He's only down to 3 at the moment. And SO shots, let's take a look how they're microing against each other. Oh, and battle elephants coming over. Let's take a look. Those elephants should just vanish against some scorpions. Let's take a look. Quick walls. Oh, not getting done. And he just could have built a different building there quite easily as well. And oh, this could do something. Let's see. What is chasing them? Not much at all. And Leash. Thought they had very low HP overall. But if they're in the trade, they are doing the damage for sure. More tactical pause. Trade amount 49 and 47. Spain and Mentalist. We're still out. So tough to control all the map. Praxes actually doing quite a good job of castling up his trade line. Look at that. 2 castles over here. What is that cross? Oh, there's a cross, okay. 3, 6 castles to protect the direct trade line, 2 to protect the markets before that. So he is doing an exceptional job with that. Actually, this area would be open, so could build 1 or 2 castles over here, but that's more of the responsibility of Leash, I'd say. Huh. Give me some over-under, guys. How many trade cards will go down? At the moment, we are looking 4 short of 100. Could maybe go down into the 70s even. Oh, that's too much army being sent by Mentalist. I think you don't need to send scorpions and elephants. Okay, below 80 now. But yeah, now they're clearing it up. So that was okay-ish, I would say. Praxes even sending in some Boyar as well. Oh, they continue to do some damage. Spain, after defending that. Leash needs 1 minute. Okay, go. Okay, that's why the pause was a bit longer. Seems like both teams kind of wanted one. That trade is now completely cleared up. Not the biggest losses ever when it comes to the trade. Yeah, some raids into the food eco, but enough elephants around. Whereas the army of Mentalists, and let's look at the front here, and snacking some sweet amount of SO here. Let's take a look, focusing down those rams. Seems pretty important. Where's the army unleashed? He has 60 army. Oh, he is going for another push at the left-hand side. Again in the trade. And, well, getting some kills done here. Uh-oh, this is getting interesting now. Because that is unanswered for now. And even that's not an X from the NaBs, guys. That's an X from Leash. Saying, look at that. How well am I playing? How sneaky am I? I'm killing trade units. But, well, Mentalist is coming over as well, so that's not the biggest problem and will be dealt with, I believe. Again, sending too many units if you ask me, or too late. Look at that, now 2 elephants left. And he has like 25 army over here. Somewhat lost his team here. Oh, Mentalist needs to run. He needs to run. Oh, yo. It's really, or maybe some hit and runs. I'm not sure. Maybe should split off against one single SO. Would have maybe done the job as well. Same time, Spaden. Ah, finally did take our advice. And is getting quite a nice forward base done here. Oh, that's a lot of rams and traps. 1 card's already down. Maybe going for the second one now. Interesting. That's a solid push. Uh-oh. Lots of elephants. What can they do? Mentalist seizes. He wants to intercept. He has a lot of scorpions. Should get this cleared up quite nicely. Let's take a look. We can see any walls, not really, and uh-oh, now needs to retreat. Realizes, okay, against that amount of scorpions, my elephant aren't doing enough. Oh god, solid shots by Mr. Praxes, but losing quite a lot of his units. Maybe we need to take a look into Woodline eventually, that still seems okay-ish. I like how Mentalist isn't losing his scorpions for quite some time, but he keeps reducing more and more, and I believe he shouldn't go for more than that. He is at 90 army at the moment, but that feels like more than 40 scorpions. Just maybe if you want to go super crazy, maybe even think to go to the other side, but that's just way too long of a distance. I think he needs to stay over here. SO's doing quite a good job of flattening those scorpions. Mattheus could maybe think about going and building that castle again. That SO is getting another good shot off, shot number 4, and just getting scorpion after scorpion here against that patrol. And Leash is holding this. Same time, Praxes is holding the right hand side. Whew, guys, this could get into a very long one. And when I say a very long one, I mean more than 43 minutes even. Sneaky patterns. Oh, wouldn't that be a funny strategy? Oh, SO shots could be so good here, but at the moment Spain is not taking care and losing this SO. It still feels like Mentalist is having way too much. Needs to focus down the SO of Praxes though. This was a pretty good engagement for the QueNDi guys here. And suddenly Mentalist at pop 170. Yeah, this castle's helping out so much. That's good. Oof. Same time, Spain somewhat losing against Praxes here. Leash is doing an incredible job against Mentalist. Yeah, will they really lose this very long game here? It'd be pretty tricky for them. Praxes just so active with this SO at all times there. Something that he is doing better than Spain, and even intercepting the SOs as they come out here from Spain. Let's take a look, big engagement, but I'm lacking this, or I'm not seeing the scorpions. Only now they're coming, but SOs are rolling forward again. Let's take a look if he can get good shots off. For now, not. But elephants losing against the scorpions. This looks good by QueNDi. At the moment, no real army coming over. Praxes even sending more boyars. Where is all the army of Spain? He's at 43 military. Oh, that's not a great engagement here for... Oh, Mentalist lost just so much there. Look at that big SO shot. And those two castles, and then we are only one screen away from the market and the trade route. Actually, some markets even under pressure here, but not the important ones. More SO shots, let's take a look. And Praxes instantly replacing those siege workshops. He is playing like a madman. Spain now going through the middle. Maybe can get some ground attacks off with those SO. Let's take a look. Not really. Okay. And the only question is, how will they perform in this trade? Here we can see trade amount is 100 and 110 for the teams. This is a very tough engagement. SO shots need to be very good for the NaBs guys to hold this. At the moment they aren't really connecting. SO amount is just too little, too small. Let's take a look now. The SOs of Praxes are coming around. Why is Leash retreating here? I think he had the perfect fighting position. Now the Scorpion's doing damage over and over again. Leash, you just broke all the elephants. You had 10 elephants left. You could have broken all the scorpions, and then he's retreating, something I absolutely don't like. At the same amount, we see Spain doing a solid job against those trade cards, and there's no real answer to that. Now sending 2 boyars over, not really a thing, and suddenly trade amount going below 70. Oh, Mental is building some trade cards out of this front market. It's at 62 now. Maybe that's a bit too high if you ask me. especially if you're Khmer and need so much food for your elephants as well. Uh-oh, but I see tricky boyas coming around in the north as well. But Spaden was super aware of that. And will deny that instantly if he actually goes for it. And yes, he is. Okay. That's no problem. But another group of boyas in the middle here. Yeah, interesting stuff. And yeah, that's no castle around. And boyas in the middle over here. They are just playing this very trade rate heavy now. Kellan would be super proud of them. Is this not cleared up? It seems like both armies combined over here actually did quite some damage, and now it's 100 trade against 55 only. And it seems like those numbers are even getting smaller. Spaden, is he maybe winning this with this weird trade go with the boyas in the trade? No castles around here? Leash, he only has 500 stone. He did a castle push here at the front. 3 castles, lost all of them but 1. Maybe they needed some more castles in the back here. Because their trade is now below 50 in this 55-minute game. That's a crucial disadvantage here for them. Oh, now we see a guard tower. Okay, big elephant raid. Let's take a look. Seems like this could be intercepted by Mentalist. And yeah, he is just moving in. And now scorpions, can they shoot? Leash is just going back. He didn't want to take that engagement at all. Boyas now clearing this up, going forward. Take a look where Spaden is searching his new prey. Actually, he's going through the middle, solid ground attack shots, but now killing all the SO in the middle here. And, well, just running into the army of Praxes, so that's not really going to work out. Not a lot of trade cards will die, and, well, Praxes now trying to go for the trade goal himself. Oh, big engagement here. Where are the scorpions of Mentalists? He needs to retreat. And maybe take another good engagement. Oh yeah, so active all around the map. Look at that. But yeah, we already figured out that this area over here is not really raidable. Only over here. Oh, and elephants going through the trade now. Scorpions were out of position. Mentalist maybe not as active as he would have loved to be. Trade amount over 100 though, 260. Take a look at the prices. We have wood at 120, food at 52, stone pretty much at the starting price. And Leash even selling food, buying wood now. So it seems like we are getting into the phase where wood is getting really important. Therefore, sniping 6 traps would be pretty sexy for him. All those elephants are cleared up. Spaden is chasing those down. Uh-oh, look at the 2 QueNdis. They cannot hold their pop at the moment. They are at pop 160 each. Are Mentalist and Spaden winning the very long game here? It would be a true pleasure to witness that, and it feels like that could happen. Okay, now going for the engagement here. Let's take a look. Oh, it could actually fight those scorpions, I believe. They were so clumped up. And Spaden now pulling Leash out of position. Mentalist should push and take a lot of ramps as well. Could go into that area. Trying to go through, but those walls weren't completely done. Let's take a look at the wood amount. Well, this is blocked. Where is wood left in this map? Not here, not here, not here. Well, we still have some more wood close to the NaBs guys, I would say. Oh, that is still doable for the QueNDis. Yeah. So we're kind of fighting for those woods in the middle now. When I mean fighting, I really mean fighting. So it will all be about gold. And then having 70 trade cuts to 100, I take the 100. And maybe one bad engagement could also end the game here, because no one is really having the big amounts in the bank here. Let's just quickly throw through them. Not a lot of wood and gold. Praxes, not a lot of wood and gold. On the other side, Mentalist does massive amount of resources. He was babysitting his army this whole time so well. Ay. And Spaden, still some wood and gold banked as well. Solid amount of food. But look at that. That's just a treat to look at those resources. Ay. And another go. Finally, one defensive cast here by Leash. And Spaden just keeping the QueNDis back home. And that means Mentalist can push more. And with that amount of resources, he can push for quite some time. But oh, that's a very bad engagement here. Oh, actually, it's not really an engagement. It's just, well, a move in or something. Opa, that's a good shot. Trying to snipe more SO now. But, oh, not even getting that one done. Tough stuff. $60 trade to 100 trade. Let's take a look at the prices. Wood at 190 now. Comes about who bought more cost efficient earlier. The two QueNDis at pop 150 and struggling to get higher. Mentalist, if he loses all his army, could nearly replace it. Come on, end this. Well, you certainly don't want to take a bad engagement now if you are a NaBs player. And maybe give your enemies a chance to come back into this game. Oh, another Boya raid, and well, I think he's taking the wrong spots. Well, maybe over here isn't that bad. It's kind of a hole of the castles. And as you can see, Praxes already camping with his Boyas over here. Oh, I see it camping like here. He's sending two there. Not the longest game of the tournament so far. Guys, we already had a draw in this tournament. So don't get crazy because one game is going long. Cost you to lose your production now as well? Yeah, like in many ways. Wood-wise, you cannot really build more elephants. Let's take a look. Leash, where does he have still stables? One at home, 4 in the middle and 2 over here. So if he loses his elephants, he cannot really replace them. Uh-oh, more Boyas doing some damage. And again, down to 60 trade cards. And GG, they're not even taking a last engagement. Ay. Why are you not giving your enemies a chance to screw up? Beautiful game by Spaden, raiding so much. Mentalist playing super patiently. He had so many resources still banked up. He would have won this game a second time if they didn't resign now. And this game, guys, ay. The NaBs are making me a very happy nerd. 2-2 now. Mentalist, look how little he fought. Praxes and Spaden just throwing at each other. Halberdiers all out, and Mentalist just so calm all game long. Actually, a worse KD than Leash. Wood amount 60 to 70. So was a bit better for the NaBs as well here. 2 relics, and then the Emmas don't think about too often. And now, we're going into Team Islands, Portuguese and Byzantines. Ooh, oi, 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 oi. Don't forget Mattheus plays with the calculator. What? They were annoyed of the rating? Well, it was really annoying. Are Caravels better than Galleons? Tough to say. It feels like no. It's weird because it's a unique unit. I think they need a buff. Otherwise they aren't really better, right? Maybe they need to do not like line damage, but like spread a bit. Like zzzt, zzzt, something like that. Because like everyone is just patrolling in anyways. And spread wide. But like that shot is already what Longboat is doing. Because Fireship Caravels die hard, well, so do Galleons. Especially against Byzantines. Aye, this is interesting. The soundtrack is so good! Jesus Christ. Guys, I'm so happy that you're around here. Being active, being chatty, talking about Age of Empires stuff, and just doing the good work that you're doing as good spectators that you are. Bum 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 bum. Who came up with these great settings? This guy. Manu, I already knew that. It's a very known thing. The Portuguese and Byzantine to make Team Islands less boring. Well, we will see about that because the game is starting now. Game number 5 in the making here. We have Spaden playing the Portuguese, we have Mentalist playing the Byzantines. He is short distance in Portuguese, and we have Byzantines for Praxes. So this should be interesting. Portuguese should die quite early here, and the Byzantines should always dominate. No houses being queued up here by Spaden. That's a pretty unfortunate start by him. Let's take a look. He's instantly going for Galleons. Not 100% sure why he's going for those. But we need to go for some fires, but now Mentalist should be in the dominant position here for sure. Let's take a look how Praxes is playing this out as well. 4 scouts. Oh god, and now building the castle with 4 villagers. Well, that just means he's given up water, right? Only 6 stocks here, and even gathering them in. Aye. Okay, Mentalist is winning over here as well. Caravels now doing some damage, but this is looking tricky. But Improvise at least has more dogs out, so now we have Leash benched again. Seems like he does not want to play any water maps, and I think Praxes could now even instantly switch into cannon galleons and just finish his side, or go to the other side and double there. But he has such a big advantage, a bigger one than Mentalist has, if you ask me. but losing quite a lot of fast fires here. Oh, demos around for Spaden now. What? He isn't even getting the best hits off. And Praxes indeed is going to the other side. Well, that's something like that didn't make sense, going for cannon guns and go to the other side. But now, because now his cannon guns are somewhat exposed. Oh, beautiful move. Look at Praxes instantly denying that market as well. Oh god, those are some good demo shots, and Mentalist, I feel Praxes kind of threw that game here, going for way too many galleons now that aren't doing anything. He does not have enough defensive castles up, and now losing water completely. At the same time, we have Improvised doing some comeback, but Mentalist still holding him under reasonable control. And now Spaden can go back onto water. He is... well, he's trying to get more castles, more docks up, and getting more castles up. They are using the complete shoreline. Look how perfect Mentalist is building all his docks here. A really big fan of his play, and that looks pretty damn impressive how Mentalist is doing his water build up here. Helping at the right times as well. And now the only question is, can we see some landings? And it seems like that was the plan over here, but is getting denied. And yeah, that was only one villager. Why would you land with one villager? That makes very little sense to me. Oh no, that's a big surround. But you shouldn't go too far in. Demos could just kill all your fast fires here. But not a lot of demos out, as it seems. Praxes just destroyed Spaden. Well, that's how it should work, right? I think maybe you could just go for fast fires and cannon galleons. It sounds weird, but maybe that's an option. Oh god, Mentalist is now coming over at the perfect timing for a double here. And they are clearing up this quite nicely. Cannon Gun should get cleared up here as well. And Mentalist is just going full beast mode. Look at that. He has 170 kills at this moment and only 100 losses. This is so well done. Even getting some raids against the castles in now. First focusing down the docks, as it seems, and doubling over here. He is playing this so well. At the same time, 40 villagers, roughly around what the rest has. QueNdi's having a bit more on, yeah, on that mark though. Ben could switch to Caravel. I think so as well. But for now, going cannon galleons and having mostly idle docks seems to be a strategy. And this is more army than QueNdi. He is at 100 and the enemies are at 40 and 30. So you are indeed right, my friend. And he is just beasting this whole game. Yeah, he did the Byzantines real justice. They are super strong in those settings, I believe. And he just played them to perfection. And now the Caravels are actually doing quite a good job here. But, well, not too sure how much damage they're doing at the back here, but well, I think they could be even doing the whole damage. Interesting stuff. Idle dog strategy. Haha. Nili can't contain his Mentalist fanboyism. Well, I just developed this game. Sometimes if you see something new that really excites you, you need to share it, right? Right? Am I right? I think so. Now Caravels against galleons. Interesting stuff. And now we are moving into the later phases of the game, where one team is heavily dominating the center part, so should actually be in quite a good spot in this game. Angelus probably should just take good care of all that area of improvise now. He snipes down those castles and all the houses. He's just in such a fine spot. Taking castle number 1 down. Now focusing on castle number 2. One thing terrible. And quite a bit of funny stuff. Oh, actually it's a galleon. Oh, not even damaging enough there. Okay, finally the gun goes down. Killing cataphracts, and now they're around the trade, and the market needs to be deleted. Mentalist in Spain in a very good spot here to get QueNDi down into a loser bracket even, and some people raised their eyebrows when I said QueNDi, they aren't one of the top favorites for me, and that's mainly because those settings aren't really designed for them. But, well, I shouldn't talk too soon, because those fast fire ships of Praxes will do a beautiful job of clearing up all this hit squad that Spain did send around, and this has to be super cost efficient for sure. You can see already producing new ship here is Spain, but that will be heavy loss, and that's a lot of cannon gains for him as well. Maybe just sort of like suicided them, trying to get them, send them around, because they aren't doing massive amount of damage anyways here in the back either. Oh god! And losing, well, 5 organ guns. It's not the end of the world. Maybe he's an organ donor. Ay ay ay. Okay. And galleons missed quite a bit of shots here. Now the push of Mentalist, and that's a lot of siege workshops. If he goes for mass rams, well, Portuguese cannot really build something out of castles against that, and he was pop limit anyways. So, why? Oi. It'll be tough. He needs to get onto either stables or maybe some barracks. For sure, Praxes should help him. 5 out of 10 joke. Well, that's 4 over my average. Really made a funny. A funny what? Good game so far. Incredible game so far. Super happy with how this series is going. Mattheus should add some fires again, absolutely agreed, and he agrees with you as well and is adding them now. We'll also go for more castles, indeed, castle number 2 and 3, even going for some barracks now. And, well, Portuguese maybe go for some champions, which obviously aren't too great against potential cataphracts coming up, but good against halberdiers. Maybe just something against the rams as well, but it feels like Praxes is doing a good job of helping out here as well. That's a costly army by Praxes here. That is very unprotected. Ay ay ay. All those cannon guns. I think that wasn't the right option. Oh, we'll lose those, and that will be super costly. Oh, John, thank you so much for the host. We are in a very good DM series here so far. I hope you had a wonderful, very productive late night session there against the AM guys. I watched as long as I could. it seems like that landing of Mentalist was shut down. But still, the water control in the center is for the NaBs guys, but losing some cannon galleons here now. Uh-oh, and those are unfortunate waypoints. Pulling the galleons back means the cannon galleon is exposed at the front and is dying. Actually, was trying to go for a landing at the same time as well. But, well, there's someone still out there. Those cataphracts unanswered for now. Where are all the cataphracts of Praxes? Did they die at the shoreline here? Feels a bit like it. Cannon galleon still around. And the NaBs guys still in a very good position. Jordan actually played well last game. What? Then I'm going to watch the VOD. Uh-oh. Big villager fest here in the middle of the map. Need to find another wood line to go for. And maybe get some efficiency back. Now another move around here by Spaden, who has a lot of army on the water here, as we can see. Lots of galleons and cannon galleons. And he can do a lot of damage against all those market. Praxes still around with his fast fires. I believe Spaden could really use some heavy demos as well. And now trying to take another engagement. Mentalist still active, still building some rams here. Could snipe down those traps, maybe take down a castle. And again, some fast fires sniping around, but those weren't enough as it seems. Cannon galleon still alive and sniping down that market long distance. Can they maybe get that market before retreating? No, he wants to save them. And well, actually, I think one more volley could have done the job. Is he sending in more? Yes, he is. Oh god, let's take a look at the resources of Praxes. He still has enough. He's actually lacking gold. Trying to get his numbers higher. He's only at 15 at the moment and has no other gold income. Let's take a look. Gold -8 only. Yeah, this is a tough one for him. And this could be the GG. If he's completely out of gold, is losing this market, cannot really get the production running as well. Does he have another market somewhere? Not really. Quickly bought something, as it seems. But that's it. Oh no, he just lost his market with 10 cards queued up. This is looking good for Spain and Mentalist. And indeed, Praxes and Improvise have to tab out. This is the 3-2 here for Mentalist and Spaden. What a beautiful game by them. And Mentalist absolutely beasted this one. Pure beauty, how he played, and very dominant here against Improvise, who didn't play too bad. And then Praxes, with his advantage, I said, either he needs to add cannon galleons early on, or he needs to go and double. And he did both. Therefore, he lost his cannon galleons against Spaden, and his double wasn't super efficient. And then the comeback started for Mentalist and Spaden. And now, the underdogs have 2 match points. After taking out QuEnDi, they are going for QueNDi as well. And if they win this, it's very likely that they will face QueNDi next. What amount? Actually better for Improvise and Praxes, but the KD as of Mentalist and Spaden both. So much better. Beautiful stuff. Oof. And now we are going into Captain's mode here for game number 6 on Atacama. I actually predicted NaBs to win the series. You are a madman. Okay, draft is starting for everyone who's new. Came over from those from Jordan. We have 2 global bans first, then a private ban, then a pick, 2 bans for the enemy, and then the last pick. Who plays for QueNDi? Sacrifice, the most unknown guy, QueNDi Rage and QueNDi True. Team Spain bans Burmese. Slav ban. Those were global bans. Now, someone's expecting like Khmer, maybe Franks. But I cannot see those bans. That's weird. Okay, normally I should see those. Oh, okay, seems like we don't see the bans this time, which is kind of weird. We have Mattheus again with the Franks, Spanish for Team QueNDi. Let's see what else we have in store. More bans that we can't see at this point, but we'll see pretty soon. Want to know more about the players? Go on my YouTube. I have a promo video there explaining all. That's so bugged. Well, just a spectator thing. We can see, but Nili can't. Should I just reload it? Or reload it afterwards? Still say Praxes and Leash greater rage. Maybe, but that's not what it's all about. So we have Frank Saracens against Spanish Celts. The speed advantage over at the side of the NaBs players. The late game power, I would say, could be over at the side. It is tough, but they're still strong. Good paladins. Saracens are beastly as well. Interesting. Okay, and we had the banks of Franks and Khmer. Interesting stuff. Frank Saracens, Spanish Celts. I'm not even sure what I would prefer. Probably Atacama, Saracens and Franks. I absolutely don't mind Spanish and Celts either. It is an interesting matchup for sure. Why not Franks plus Hunts for crazy start? Because then you are very one-dimensional. And if your enemy, for example, is going for elephants, kind of struggling. What do you think is better in the Saracens or Indians? Saracens. You have the better market, you have SO, Mamelukes. But later on in this tournament, I believe we have a GA with Saracens and Indians. So then we can answer the question. Are we banning Vietnamese? Who would pick Vietnamese or why? Because of elephants and red archers. Are Mamelukes good in the air? Somewhat. Thank you so much, Hell Rider. Mams are good in post-imperial. Luckily, we are playing in post-imperial. Spending card for Robo. Okay, then I will go for Frank and Saracens. And we will find out, guys. Now we will play Atacama, game number 6 here. And the distances are very short here on the right-hand side. We have Spaden going for the Saracens, and we have paused at 1 minute 50. So maybe some discussion about a potential restart. Short distance here against the Spanish player Unleashed. And on the left-hand side, we have Franks for Mentalist against Kel's Improvise, who is having a quite open start here. That could be troubling for him quite a bit. Ridge on the wrong side here for Spaden as well. And this game is just going super fast. I have no idea what we're witnessing. I believe this could be a restart and we are just trying to catch up with the speed here. Or is this just normal time? We will see in, I believe, some seconds. And yeah, Spaden is calling a restart here. Quite interesting because he didn't have a bad start at all. Mentalist lost a villager as it seems, or what happened here? Interesting. Or maybe they just wanted a different matchup. They wanted to have Frank against Spanish and Saracens against Celts. Or maybe even a shorter distance. And well, NaBs is calling a restart on this one. You have to call it before the 2-minute mark. Was that the right version of Atacama? It is version 2. So I'd say it is the right version. For everyone who doesn't know Atacama, yeah, only have very little wood and somewhat needs to fight for it in the middle later on. So could be pretty interesting. Oh, time to send some of your energy for your favorite team, either QueNdi or NaBs, here in the winner bracket quarters. I believe the winner is already in the money, right? Top 6 are getting money. And for... No, you aren't guaranteed. Did you quit your job as a teacher, Nili? No. But I will. Saracen stock can be good here. Top 6 get money? Yes. We have open arms for the whole DM community. It's like Oasis on drugs. What do you teach? Math and social science for 1st and 3rd graders. And I teach Nili math. There's 13 weeks holidays. So few? I think I have more. Lapjack, I'm looking forward to talk to you in German tomorrow as well. But now we are jumping into the second try here on Atacama. So this is another short distance here, Saracens against Celts, and on this side we have Franks for Mentalist against the Spanish Unleashed. This is going to be interesting, I believe. It could be the tougher matchup, and especially because the doubling will be pretty tough for Spain if we compare that to the Golden Crater game from before. Not getting any kills against the villagers on here. And can he kill the... Oh, the villager actually killing the scout. Good job by him. And this is killed as well. We don't see any villager loss. Actually, Improvise and Unleash both lost a villager. Something I completely missed. And this is a good start for the NaBs guys. And it seems like the double is real. As you can see, the camels are going over to the other side. He's not sending a single camel to Improvise. He is trying to double Unleashed. They are trying to give the payback time they received earlier on the Golden Crater game. Trying to get a defensive castle up. Needs to get some siege over as well. At the same time, Mentalist needs to get his numbers up as well. And raiding those villagers. This looks pretty ugly for Unleashed, but his villagers obviously have a lot of HP, being the Spanish villagers. Is he trying to get some walls up somewhat here? He will certainly lose some villagers, but they are beefy as hell. Let's take a look. And was trying to get a house wall in, but the paladin squeezed in, and this is so ugly for Unleashed. So ugly for him. If he just finished that, it could have been a solid defense, but now it's getting tough. And what else is getting tough is the Halberdier push here at the front. Spain needs to retreat, needs to go into his castles a bit better. Does not really want to fight with his heavy camels here. Mamluk production needs to start as well. And now Mentalist is going to the front and is trying to continue punish our pop or villager 7 guy unleashed, who will lose more villagers here at the side, but that's not the most dominant start ever. And Spaden, not with the greatest defense this far. Rushing distance was just pretty far for our player in the red trunks here. Aggression continues though, and Mentalist, we have seen him push quite nicely against Improvise before in the Green Arabia game, so let's see how this will continue. Controlling the top corner now is Improvise. This could get tricky when it comes to the trade. Let's take a look. Mentalist seems to want to trade at the top side there. And Unleashed even started the trade. How is that even possible? Seems like he's building some trade cards out of this market here. Mentalist is just pushing like a madman, but not a lot of traps out. I can see only one. Next caster is coming. And the push here for Improvise continues as well. Some raid into the gold spot. Beautiful, beautiful raid here. And look at that villager amount. 17 for Improvise, 10 only still for Unleashed. Population is somewhat brutal over here. 120 to 60. And it feels like, well, Spaden is holding for a bit at least. That castle isn't standing for much longer. And he is having some troubles for sure. Improvise will clear that up quite nicely as well. Then the question is, what can Mentalist do? Obviously with Paladins only, he cannot really come over here and just double away all the Halberdiers. We need to see more SO from Mentalist, who needs to get that castle up as well. Did he just double click something? It seems like that was somewhat of a mistake. Need to finish that castle first, but well, that castle is going down for sure. Ugly spot for them, and it feels like Unleashed is holding a bit better than Spaden himself. Oh, what a toughie, what a toughie. Mentalist not having that much siege out. He has 5 traps, that is quite good, but Improvise advancing just so much faster and will get 2 more castles. At the moment Spaden has 0 gold and not a lot of income. As you can see here, did have pretty reasonable spots, but now the World Riders are clearing up all the SO. The champions will not do too much damage because of the Scorpions protecting the traps quite well. And it seems like Spaden will be out of this game. Now building some barracks, trying to add in some champions. Not 100% sure how that will really work out. And trade, Improvise is getting that up, and Leash as well. And feels like Leash he's somewhat holding. He is getting overrun as well. Some nice raids with the Paladins here in the back. That is one deadly army, and if we have a dead Saracen and a dead Spanish, I think the Celt should do pretty well against the Frank Mentalist player here. Spaden trying to run around, trying to get more TCs up. Obviously will be super housed. Now losing his last, or actually his second to last castle. He still has this one. They didn't get any trade rolling either. This TC will get spotted. But Improvise. Pop 200 for him. Mentalist on the other side 150. Unleashed is kind of stabilizing. He's not really stabilizing, but he's not dying that fast. You know, guys, everyone in the world at one point is dying. Everyone in different speeds. And it seems like Spaden is the Usain Bolt of dying. Lol. Still no markets up. He should have done that ages ago, so that Mentalist at least can get this running for him as well. Should really give some gold over to Spaden as well. And champions aren't really doing the job against Saracens either. Against Celts. Leash. Improvise. Giving some stone to Leash. that he can maybe get onto some more Kongs. Mentalist losing a bit of steam. 3 out of 10 joke. I'm going to the right direction, you mean. And Leash, how well did he boom back here? Look at that. Has a lot of eco, has villagers working. Yeah, he's losing castle after castle, but that's just totally fine. Killing more villagers here. And would rate the trade as well. Wood control completely in favor of the QueNDi guys. And let's take a look. Mentalist will clear this up. He only has 80 villagers though. No trade for them on the other side. We already have a somewhat reasonable trade rolling here for Leash. And that TC is cleared up as well. Even has a castle there at the top. And the go continues. Did some damage against the traps. But Spaden, 70 pop, losing so many buildings over and over and over again. Traps not advancing as fast as they could. SO coming over as well. And for this strategy, it felt like the map wasn't too great, that Spaden couldn't double as fast as I really wanted. Didn't get the defense up against all the very nice advancements here of Improvise, who instantly went for a lot of aggressive siege workshops, a lot of castles, and really did put on the pressure against Spaden here. Spaden still trying to play this out. He has enough, a lot of TCs running for him. Obviously it's easy to boom as well if you have a lot of markets running, but they have simply no protection of that trade at all, losing more and more houses again. And yeah, he's just running around trying to really set up the ego. At the same time, Mental is trying to split against SO. Not something we see too often in ORDM. Mainly because of the fast speed, secondly because you cannot manage that much, and it feels like Pop 120 for Mentalist. We are going into the rubber match, guys. Game number 7 is awaiting us any moment. The push of Improvise was just too good, Spaden couldn't hold, and the kill of Mentalist was too slow. Beautiful hold here by Mr. Leash. And obviously the Spanish villagers really helping him out there to survive a double a bit longer. Guys, game number 7 is around the corner. What a beautiful series this is, and I absolutely love this tournament. Earlier today I said, the Viper series wasn't very nice. You need to watch the series tonight, and I am happy that I kept my promise that this series is the more entertaining one. And guys, you know what it means when we go into the last game of a series. Go NaBs! Mistyped the hype song, they were too fast, guys! Junke. And we are going into the last match of this evening. It's game number 7 and we're looking into Team Islands again. We have the Vietnamese-Britons war. Probably not the best matchup here for the QueNdi's. Can they maybe die on this map again? It's looking good for our RM heroes. There's a lot of cannon galleons queued up here. There's a lot of... Well, this has to be a misclick. Ay. That's a lot of aggression. Maybe he just goes for the long distance. Instant dock denies here. He has a fast fire ship against no fast fire ships for Improvise. So this will be tricky for sure. And Improvise instantly calling the re as he should. And now realizing, damn, I don't have fast fires. That makes so much more sense to go into the restart here, guys. And now let's play the middle part again. Same map, same tips. How long into the game can the call restart? 2 minutes. That actually works so good. Go NaBs, kill QueNDi. Go NaBs. Go NaBs. Kill QueNDi. Ah, there it is. Go NaBs, kill QueNDi. 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 And here we go, guys, and this is Britain and Vietnamese war here on Team Islands. Let's take a look how they're playing this out. Unleashed even not sending all 3 villagers to the front. Interesting start here. Mentalist not super prepared instantly as well. And oh god, Improvise even still having his light cav here. That's not a great start for him. Now starting with fast fires is Mr. Spaden, who was pretty late with his house as it seems. Getting the docks up here, Mentalist, and this is just the most important game for them in this tournament so far. We have the Britain war over at the right hand side, Vietnamese war at the left hand side. Early castle here by Mentalist, who's trying to get more and more docks up, obviously, since we're playing Team Islands. No more houses by Spaden this far. Needs to queue up more docks as well. Building a defensive tower. Interesting stuff. Could maybe add some to the fray here for sure. Heavy demos doing some job against the galleons maybe. Solid start this far for Spaden. Has the advantage here. Pop 18 to 16 of his enemy. On the other side we're both looking at 14. Trying to redock here is Improvise. Why? He had even numbers. Why is he redocking? Why is he giving up the water? That's just a very big mistake if you ask me. Both players here with a very low amount of demos. That's not the greatest thing ever. Keeps actually with... Look at that damage output. Ay, 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 ay. That's just enormous. Ay, ay, doing like 20 damage or something. Okay. Then I would have loved them to see even one tile further to the shore. And 11 range there as well, so they could be the answer here, especially with Britons with that damage output. That's just so good. Let's take a look at more heavy damage hits maybe. At the same time, Mentalist is controlling this front quite nicely, but military count is actually not really in his favor. Improvise with his redock is doing quite well, maybe a bit too many fast fire or slow fires actually now out of Mr. Mentalist. Same time, maybe Spade didn't focus too much on his keeps, so that he is not building enough dogs at the same time. Let's take a look. Yeah, this looks pretty solid by Unleashed. He is really getting his dog amount up and therefore kept his production up as well. Is Leash together with Improvise maybe winning this Team Islands game? The last Team Islands game took us over 1 hour. Let's take a look how long this one will take. Actually, no, it didn't take us over an hour. The Prairie game took us over an hour. Team Islands game was like 30 minutes. Oh god, look at that. Only going for fast fires. I don't see any demos queued up. Don't see any galleons queued up. That's a big effing army of Unleashed. Look at that, already 80 military. And now attacks! Baden is going for it. Needs to go for different approaches here, or different patrols is what I wanted to say. And Unleashed, he doesn't have any demos either. His cards are way off here, and I believe this could be a reasonable engagement for Spain, but obviously very costly when it comes to gold. Now denying the redox here. Pretty beautiful stuff. At the other side, we kind of have a winning thing for Improvise. Now we see Unleash is kind of trying to retreat into his castle, and Longbowman actually with 12 range doing some, well, tickling, I believe. I'm not 100% sure how much damage they are actually doing to those fast fire ships. Seems like Leash is thinking they are worth it. Mentalist struggling here, and so is Spaden. Do QueNDi B guys maybe with a prepared start now on Team Island adjust their strategy, and it seems like going for the towers that early wasn't the greatest thing. And yeah, the DMers are super happy. Yeah, we are finally winning a DM game on Team Islands against RMers. That's something that never ever happened before. And well, let's see how this will continue. Wrist still has a lot of dogs out himself as well. He has 36 military compared to 60. On the other side we have 25 compared to 70. And now adding some cannon galleons. This is looking pretty solid here for Mr. Unleashed. Too late for another well, they already took two, so they didn't have one anyways. Whoever wins this game will advance against potentially QueNDi A in the winner bracket semis here. The loser drops down into the loser bracket, and therefore having less chances to win the whole tournament or advance into the finals in general. I hope for NaBs that's something a lot of guys on this stream will do. Gamers winning game 7 on Team Islands is epic. Well, truly special for sure. Fast fire ship now from Spade, and he's trying to take another approach of clearing this up, running into this castle though. I'm not 100% sure if he really is taking this engagement as good as he could, but feels like 55 are solid numbers to take this. And yeah, again, no demos by Unleash, and this is again a mistake if you ask me. The transporter in this fight not really doing a lot of damage, and Spaden is reclaiming this area, and Mentalist kind of stabilizing here as well. The NaBs still absolutely in this one. Would be pretty big if the QueNDis are throwing this. Ay ay ay. Cannon Galleons now getting sniped from improvised elite Cannon Galleons even. Those towers still doing massive amount of damage. I would love to see a kill count on those, or a damage count. Be really interesting. Spain really preparing. Oh, now preparing a longbow landing. This could be interesting. Maybe just 10 longbows around here, sniping some villagers, denying some trade. Could be pretty interesting. Same time, Mentalist trying to charge up for another engagement. Now this is getting interesting and really tough to take good engagements if you have more than 40 galleons here. And now they have 70 and 60 on the other side. 70 and 60 as well. So very dead even here when it comes to army numbers. Spaden, the only guy lacking a bit. No trade this far by the NaBs guys. That's a bit late if you ask me. But they're setting this up now. So it's still in the reasonable amount of time if you ask me. QuEnDi Raider, QuEnDi. Well, we could find this out next weekend. This is a beautiful clear up here and a nice double by the NaBs guys, who are now taking the lead in this game. 22 military only for Leash, and we see a galleon around. And maybe 6 longbows sneaked around as well. We will see about that. Improvise now trying to come over, but cannot take the greatest engagement ever. QuEnDi is playing tomorrow. I will cast this series as well, but since it's a Monday, it will be in German on my German day. Uh-oh. Let's take a look. Will this transporter drop off the longbowman? Yes. Okay, but we'll get instantly cleared up, so no big things over here. Sick. Pierre, we limp. Actually wrote something in the chat. That's so sick. So sick that he's around. Actually writing something. Has to be some admin related stuff. Not a wild opinion of his own. Okay, and now Unleash is trying to go back onto water. He is back to 60 military. At the moment 40 from Spaden only, and therefore some cannon galleons get sniped down. This is stopped as well, and it feels like all the players are in a very good spot when it comes to the eco, but it feels like Spaden overboomed here. 140 villagers is simply too much. Let's take a look at his numbers. 80 lumberjacks. I think he doesn't need that many villagers on stone as well at the moment. That's too much. You really need a big army on DM as well. So going for too many villagers isn't the right thing. Even building more. 146. Is he still creating villagers? Yes, he is. Well, he has a lot of TCs as well. Ay. So his army count isn't that high, so he will never really win fights. If Leash stays at 60-70 military, and you always only have 45, it's going to be tough for you. Okay, now Improvise sold a lot of food. The price is actually now at 17. Wood is actually even bought at that early phase in the game. Maybe he's used to DM at 300 pop. Maybe not. I think of these DMers. Oh god, another arc, needy arc moment. Oh god, he's losing all his galleons here. Well, he's going back at least now. Is this Kellan smurfing for Improvise here or what? Ay. Exclamation mark arc if you want to know what I was referring to. This is, well, still okay-ish for him. Cannon galleons now at the front. And another bad engagement here for Mentalist. Guys, this is a true nail-biter. Game number 7 going to distance and no team really having the big advantage. Both teams setting themselves up quite nicely for the long game. Spaden losing a lot of villagers here, killed them on his own, so that's a good way of dealing with that and getting the trade up. Would love to see more than 2 markets actually. But now sniping down some castles. Whew, and it's tough to judge who's really winning on the water. Let's take a look at KDs. It feels like, well, Improvise is losing a bit. Mentalist is winning a bit, but that's it for now. Having a keep as well. Kellan needs to be microed back. Initial count 44 and Leash with 60. So in a solid dominant spot here. All about taking good engagements over and over again in that map now. I don't really want to have your galleons trapped in the middle here. I actually like how Spain is playing this, only producing at the sides. He can control whether he wants to fight or not. He's selling 600 food. Hallelujah. Spain only had 16 trade cards. That's not enough. You want to go up very high now. 40, 50 trade cards. Obviously don't want to ever build a single farm on Team Island. That's pure waste of wood. Spain now killed more villagers even. And at 70 military, so he is winning that engagement against the only 50 ship of Unleashed here. Maybe has some longbowmen around. Cannon now can take care of those castles. This looks good for Spaden. The NaBs guys can still take this serious here. But Improvise having a beautiful raiding party over at here, killing so many villagers, killing the mining camp even, not that that is too important. Cannon sniping down another castle though. And Mentalist, is, oh god, trying to get a castle up here. Well, that's a ballsy one. Cannon instantly around the galleons as well. And the only reason this castle is going up is because Improvise didn't focus early enough, but will not get up with a lot of HP here, and the Cannon will eventually snipe it down. It mainly is for Mentalist to force another engagement against Improvise here, I believe. And he got some galleons, but couldn't repair against that amount of elite Cannon galleons. At the same time, Unleash is taking another good engagement against Spaden. Actually on both fronts, Spaden at the moment, some real troubles when it comes to his army comp. And now we have to start thinking about the amount of wood on their islands, and if you want to buy wood already. We have the wood price at 255 in this one. Where are the cannon guns going far back here by Spain? You could have them in the second row. And that's a big problem of Mentalist now. He has a small army over here, a small army over here. And in the middle, Improvise has his big army and can always decide where he wants to take the engagement. And it's really tough for Mentalist to take a good engagement if he's split up there. Uh-oh, Spain taking a bad fight here. And suddenly populations for the NaBs, 170, 140. Ooh, they're struggling somewhat. Giving 2k wood to Mentalist, who doesn't have a lot of docks left. And the markets are under threat as well. Oof. Also getting attacked, but cannon giants are getting mowed down. Military now 70 for Spain. He's really getting onto high numbers now. And this is looking quite solid. Leash needs to retreat. And this looks like a very strong army by Spain now. Not 100% sure if Leash can really ramp something up, but the big problem for the NaBs guys is over here. Improvise and Unleash are playing a beautiful, beautiful game here. And the Cannon Galleon action of Improvise is just doing so much work.
Yes.
And the trade could go down. Maybe Mentalist in Spain are losing this in the long game here on the water map. And it seems like the DMers having a nice day. Poof. Markets down and Mentalist saying nothing. GG, GG, well played. In the end, the NaBs guys had a wonderful fight against one of the top DM teams in the world and really have shown that they belong in the high levels in the DM world. But got beaten 4-3 after some even having 2 match points there, losing on Atacama and Team Islands in the end, having a good fortunate map for them. Unfortunate stuff. Good games by Improvised, Leash and Praxes. All 3 of them. They have switched around. I don't know the system. They played incredibly well. And I'm super happy that we all were here to witness this incredible series. And as I said it several times, it's all about taking good fights. And if you have negative KDs, it doesn't really show that you had great ones. What amount? We had 80k compared to 80k. We will take a small look at how it looked when it came to gold left on their islands. Okay, it was pretty much at the end except that wood line. On the other side we had, well, still that. Okay, so would have been a bit more wood for Improvise and Unleash as well. Oof. Guys, that was a beautiful, beautiful series and I love this tournament. Let's take a look at the bracket, shall we? Exclamation mark TLC2 is helping me there.